Okay, well, I don't know if Chris is coming or not, but we have quorums from both bodies, so this meeting is called to order. We'll need a roll call to determine if we have a quorum.
Coppernall.
Here?
Tepley. Here. Cairns.
Here.
Jelinek.
Here.
Wilson. Miller. Here. Jarvis. And then ETZ, Wells,
Yes.
Thompson, Berkhammer.
Here.
And also on ETZ, because I don't know if you have that listed, are Wilson, Miller, and Jelinek. They're all part of the ETZ. So you'll need to continue the roll call.
Wilson.
She already did that.
She did it for the planning commission.
Oh.
They're Miller and Jelinek, you can mark them also the presence to stay outside, but they're also ETZ. Okay, what I'm gonna do here, was this meeting properly noticed?
Yes.
Thank you. We're gonna amend the agenda here, just to move, we've got ETZ convened as well, and they need to do public hearings that the planning commission doesn't need to do because it's on properties that are not in the city. So what I wanna do is move items 2 and 3 to the bottom of the list after item 7, so that the public hearings can be done. Conditional use permits considered by ETZ rather than having to wait for the rest of it. So next on the agenda is, item 1 is approval of the minutes. And once you folks have had a moment to read those, entertain a motion to approve. Rocky, are you picking us up or do you need the mics?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve planning commission minutes from 8/27/25.
Motion from Ms. Tepley, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Jelinek. Any discussion of the minutes? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one's carried, minutes are approved. Okay, so next up we'll do item 4, public hearing for the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 25079 Maple Grove Road, which is tax parcel 022-1013-2000. Matt, do you want to lead this discussion or do you need Jason to do that?
Nope, so I got a digger's hotline request for some services being done out there. After I did my record research, I reached out to the company that requested the digger's hotline, which is the Wisconsin RSA, number 8. It's the same company for both these parcels, they just have 2 different locations. I could not find a conditional use permit. I did talk to Drew, which is our authorized agent. He did some digging, he couldn't find anything either. So this is just to get them into compliance on both of these. It is a conditional use requirement to have a mobile service on these properties. So these are to be done just to get them in compliance with our current ordinance.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, in that case, what I'll do is I'll just run it.
Yep.
Okay. So this is a public hearing again for the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 25079 Maple Grove Road, tax parcel 022-1013-2000. Is there anyone who would like to speak at that public hearing?
I just have a clarification question. These are just cell phone towers, right?
Correct.
Is that what, okay.
Yep.
Just didn't know exactly what a mobile service facility
Yep.
was. Okay.
Just your typical cell phone towers, or
Say that again, Karen?
are they just typical cell phone
Yep.
towers? Or
Yep, they're actually just adding more satellites to it. The structure's already there. What's that?
It's already up there?
Yep, and they've been operating. This is just, like I said, to get them in compliance to the ordinance that we have.
And you said Maple Grove is where?
Maple Grove would be, if you took it right on Fairgrounds Road,
Yeah.
and it's all by the fairgrounds, take a left.
Heads up to Hustler's Ridge?
Correct, yep, and they'd be off to the right. It's actually pretty far back there.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so I've asked one time, asked for the second time. This again is a public hearing for the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 25079 Maple Grove Road, tax parcel 022-1013-2000. Is there anyone who would like to speak? to ask 3 times legally, so third attempt. Public hearing for the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 25079 Maple Grove Road, tax parcel 022-1013-2000. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Okay, 3 attempts, I've heard from no one, so at this point, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 25079 Maple Grove Road, tax parcel 022-1013-2000. Is there a motion from someone on the ETZ board to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Mr. Wells, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Mr. Jelenic. Any discussion? Hearing none, please conduct a roll call at the ETZ board round.
Jelenic,
Yes.
Wilson, Miller,
Yes.
Jarvis.
Yes. He's not on that.
Oh, that's what I was questioning.
Switch over here.
Wells, Thompson, Burkham.
Okay, that motion is carried. The public hearing is closed. Item 5, then, consider the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 25079 Maple Grove Road. Okay, so that's what's up on the screen, correct?
No,
No.
scroll
Okay.
one down. One more.
This is the concern.
What's that?
This is the staff report for that one.
For the Maple Grove, we need Maple Ridge, right? For the next one? Are you doing a consideration?
The one that I'm doing right now, consider the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures on Maple Grove Road.
Okay, you were on the right one, sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the permit application for Maple Grove Road.
Okay, motion from Mr. Jelenic. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Miller. Okay, discussion. So which company is this that's doing this?
Wisconsin PSA.
Which cell
It's
service?
US Cellular, I do believe.
And they're simply trying to increase their signal, or?
Yes, I think they're teaming up with maybe T-Mobile.
And all they're doing is adding to a structure that's already on that.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, and again, Darcy, this is just the RTZ members. If there's no further discussion, we'll conduct a roll call.
Wilson, Miller,
Yep.
Jelenic,
Yep.
Wells,
Yep.
Thompson, Burkhammer.
Yep.
Okay, that motion is carried. Next up, item 6, public hearing for the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures. Let's see. Well, we just did Maple.
This one should be Maple Ridge.
Yeah. They not. Okay, so we just did Maple
Grove.
Grove, so now Maple Ridge Road, Maple Ridge Lane. Tax, how did we get Maple Grove and Maple Ridge on one agenda?
Okay,
Okay.
exactly.
They're the same 5 numbers.
It's the same street address, is that right? They are the same street address?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure, so we have 27095 Maple Ridge and 27095 Maple Grove.
Yep.
No, your first one was 25079, the
They're
second one
the
is
same 5, they're
270.
different combination of the
Got
5.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, 25079 Maple Grove and 27095 Maple Ridge. Okay, public hearing for the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 27095 Maple Ridge Lane, tax parcel 022-3322-1200. Matt, is this the same thing going on again? We're just
Correct.
adding to it? Is
Yeah.
it the same company?
Correct.
Okay, so this is going to be US Cell and maybe T-Mobile.
Mhm.
Okay,
And this would be, if you go past the middle school, take a left on Crestview, you go to the top of the hill, and you take a left, and this would be on the right-hand side.
okay. Okay, so first attempt, is there anyone who would like to speak? Hearing none, second attempt, public hearing for the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 27095 Maple Ridge Lane, tax parcel 022-3322-1200. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Okay, third attempt, public hearing for the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 27095 Maple Ridge Lane, tax parcel 022-3322-1200. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Okay, hearing no one, then from the ETZ board, entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the conditional use permit application at 27095 Maple Ridge Lane.
I'll make the motion.
Motion from Mr. Burkhammer, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Lisa Miller. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll need a roll call of the ETZ board.
Wilson, Miller,
Yes.
Julinek,
Yes.
Wells, Thompson, Berghammer.
Yes.
Motion is carried, the public hearing is closed, which puts us to item 7. Consider the conditional use permit application to allow mobile service facilities and mobile service support structures at 27095 Maple Ridge Lane, which is tax parcel 022-3322-1200. I guess I'll just entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Mr. Wells, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Miller. Okay. Any concerns here at all?
Mhm.
And when would they do this?
Upon approval from council.
Right now?
Upon approval from council.
Yeah, so it'll be at the, so
Yeah.
they're not waiting until spring? They're
No, they're doing it right now.
Okay. Is there gonna have to be negotiation of any new leases or any of that?
Nope.
It's just they want to build.
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, let's have a roll call on that.
Thompson, Berghammer,
Here.
Miller. Yep. Wells.
Yeah.
Wilson, Julinek.
Yes.
Okay, that one is carried, so that concludes the public hearings for which the ETZ board was convened. If the ETZ board would so like, you can now adjourn your meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting of the ETZ board.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor of adjourning the ETZ board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one's carried. ETZ is now adjourned. Okay. On our agenda now, Connor, use of South Larson Street right-of-way, Plan Commission review and report. What do we have on this one?
So you have an agenda item, cover sheet in your packet there. Sure. So this is regarding an inquiry by Mr. Connor to use a section of South Larson Street, which is unimproved at this point in time, as a right-of-way to access his property at the end of Larson, of what is platted as Larson Street. So Public Works Committee did review this, and there was a motion by Schultz to forward it to the Planning Commission. The background on this is that Mr. Tracy Connor, property owner of parcel 276-21008-350, requested permission to utilize the improved city-owned right-of-way southeast South Street to provide driveway access to his land, on which he plans to build, we think eventually, a new home. The right-of-way has not been developed or maintained as a public street. So it's not certified as a public street. It was platted as a public street, but it's not certified. So we don't receive any credits, and again, it's unimproved. It right now is a gravel form of driveway that goes up and then serves two accessory buildings from two property owners on each side. And so he's looking to continue up. Again, we covered that. Two other adjacent property owners used a portion of the access. The Public Works staff mailed each of the affected property owners seeking their comment, and no responses were received. So we've contacted them with a letter that said, hey, we're looking for this person to have access on that kind of unapproved street/driveway, and no one responded. Our recommendation is to support proceeding and allowing him to use the access, which would occur through a resolution and an access easement agreement. You can see that we actually prepared for you a full staff report. It's called the Planning Commission Staff Report. Again, it highlights a lot of the things that I just covered. Planning Commission is looking at things like, does this change in use support the comprehensive plan? The answer there is yes, that the comprehensive plan is looking for housing, is looking for a more dense use of the land that's in the city. This has been, again, an unused piece of property for years, so it meets that requirement. Have Public Works, Utilities, Zoning, have we looked at it? Yes, we've all looked at it and have reviewed the project area. Environmental site conditions, site is stable and outside any floodplain or wetland concerns. It is on a partial hillside, but that's pretty standard for the city of Richland Center. Adjacent owner notification, yes, we completed that. So again, our staff recommendation is to approve the proposed access easement as presented. We did provide for you a resolution, and there are maps. So if you wonder, let's go down further to the map. Again, you're looking at East-South Street, Iris Street, and this is the unimproved area of Larson right here. So this property and this property owner have garages that are about here, so they lightly use this, and this gentleman here is the one that purchased the property and is looking for access.
That's Tracy.
That's Tracy, yes. So you can see that lot needs driveway access through the right of way. This portion of land here is actually owned by the city. So at some point in time, we may choose to put that up for sale. It is, again, harder to develop. We have had conversations around utilities, stormwater, all of those things. So that's kind of the area that we're looking at.
Okay, so this is right away through forest. Is this wooded?
Yes.
This is wooded and this is not.
It's all wooded.
It is right still, so
Yeah.
what he wants to use is currently in the woods.
It's wooded around the perimeter. He's been removing trees from his lot.
Okay, so he's carving out his lot in.
Yeah.
Okay, and he just needs right away from us. And and his intention is to put a house up there?
Well, he has mentioned the ideal of developing a home up there, yes, but I couldn't speak to what his, final plan is. He owns the land, he owns the lot, he has the right to own the lot. We think that's his intent, but.
Okay.
You can see the resolution that we have had Attorney Wendell review. So this resolution would accompany the Plan Commission report to council, and the council would pass the resolution as well as do a deeper review of the easement agreement that Mr. Wendell has worked on.
Okay, so what we're looking for right now, basically a recommendation of that to the council, is that correct?
I have a couple questions.
And we're gonna do that in just a second.
Sorry.
Is that what we're looking for, Jason, is a recommendation to the council from the Plan Commission?
Correct. The motion is in the packet at the bottom of your staff reports. Is motion to forward the Plan Commission review and report to Common Council.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
So it's a platted street, but really undeveloped. If we give the easement, does the maintenance and snow plowing, does that fall to the 3 landowners that are using it, or does that fall back onto the city?
Correct. We do not currently maintain that portion of road, and we would not maintain that portion of road. That's part of the purpose behind the
Okay,
easement.
so it would become Mr. Tracy's issue to maintain, and the other 2 people have access to their garages through the easement.
Correct. I don't know, Mr. Wendell, you want to speak to that, but that's the intent of the easement agreement.
Yeah, so Mr. Connor is the one who approached us, and so in the draft of the easement agreement, it's tailored to him. However, there's a provision therein that basically says you're solely responsible for constructing the driveway, maintaining it once it's constructed, and keeping it in good order, clean, things like that. If the other landowners want to use the easement, we, the city, are willing to extend the rights granted under the easement. However, it's on him to negotiate a division of that cost. Otherwise, that remains solely his responsibility.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it is, this body does not have the authority to approve, for instance, this resolution, simply to recommend to the council. Nonetheless, for the public's benefit, I'm going to read the proposed resolution. Resolution granting access easement for driveway use within South Larson Street right-of-way, whereas the city of Richland Center owns a platted but unimproved right-of-way extending south from East South Street known as the South Larson Street Extension, and whereas Mr. Tracy Connor, owner of parcel number 276-2100-8350, has requested the use of said right-of-way for the driveway access to his lot on which a new residence is being constructed. And whereas the Common Council of the City of Richland Center finds it appropriate to formalize this use through a recorded easement that preserves the city's ownership rights and establishes clear responsibilities for construction and maintenance. And whereas such easement shall include provisions that 1, the driveway shall be constructed and maintained at the property owner's sole expense. 2, adjacent property owners may utilize the same access route upon proper agreement with the grantee concerning maintenance, plowing, and related costs. And 3, if the right-of-way is extended or improved to street standards in the future, the benefited property shall be subject to standard assessments for curb, gutter, and pavement. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Richland Center does hereby authorize the granting of a perpetual access easement to Tracy Connor for the use of the city-owned South Larson Street right-of-way for driveway access to his parcel as legally described in the access easement agreement. And be it further resolved that the city attorney is directed to prepare the access easement agreement consistent with these terms, and that the mayor and the city administrator are authorized to execute the same on behalf of the city. And be it further resolved that upon execution, the city clerk treasurer shall record said easement with the Richland County Register of Deeds. That's what we're considering. I don't have a problem with this. I just wish we knew for sure what Tracy. I've known Tracy since grade school. He was invited to be here, I assume.
Yeah, there was really, we told him about this. He said he would come to council. He asked if he needed to be here. I said, no, we can't refuse you access to your property. So, and it's really not a consideration of the planning commission whether he builds on a residential lot or not. It's his prerogative to buy it and own it.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Okay, any other discussion, questions, comments? If not, then I'll entertain a motion to recommend to...
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry. So the line in here in the whereas, driveway access to his lot, should be a period there? Or do you want to continue with on which a new residence is being constructed?
Well, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, this is a draft, so you're probably correct, Karen. I mean, we can adjust that for the council's consideration, and we have talked about that internally because he has mentioned both ways, but again, because it's not a consideration of the decision-making body, what he does with that, as long as he obeys the ordinances of the city, it probably should be removed.
Yeah, otherwise it just kind of...
Yeah.
That was the only question I really had. It states that he intends to build on it. Like you said, it's his right to do it.
Yeah, do you concur with that, Michael?
So which line are we looking at?
The second whereas?
And so the question is whether or not this commits him to building a residence?
If we should state.
Is it factually correct that he is currently building a residence?
No.
Then, yeah, we should take it out for validation.
And that can be done before the council approves it, will be done before the council approves it, but again, he would still have the ability, it doesn't matter, he could build later.
Just change constructed to contemplated.
Yep. There you go. Okay, again, so we're asking for recommendation of the council, this resolution, and what else do you need?
It's the motion that is there, which is just to report that you have reviewed it, that from a planning commission responsibility, which anytime there's a change in use or a use of the city street, that's slightly different. We're supposed to kind of review that, ask any probing questions, and make sure that we're addressing any concerns. So, again, from a staff perspective, we've looked at this, Attorney Windows looked at this, and all of their, department heads have looked at it. There's nothing that we see that would cause any legal concern, or that would block him, or be a reason for us not to grant him access.
One more question. Is this typically done for one person when there are two others involved in that area? Is it typically granted to one person with the idea that they have to figure it out?
So in my previous life in private practice, I actually had a couple cases where this question came up. It is better if the landowners work it out ahead of time. However, as Jason said, we haven't had any contact with the other landowners. What I was going to say is it would be harder for us to try and deny him this easement than it would be to grant it to him, because he otherwise has a landlocked parcel. And so, that's not the case for the other two individuals. And so that's why I kind of put it on him if he wants them to step up and share in the maintenance costs.
So essentially, we would be denying him access to his property.
If we did not grant the easement, yeah, and he could take us to court, and the court would say prescriptive easement, and I would
That's
walk out
exactly right.
looking like Charlie Brown.
Well,
So it is common to grant an easement to the owner of a landlocked parcel. If the easement runs through or adjacent to other properties, the other landowners will typically either engage with the easement holder in a maintenance agreement, maintenance and use agreement, or hire lawyers and get into long, complicated, and expensive litigation that doesn't really solve anything.
Okay, so then lastly, by granting this, that does not preclude the other two people from using it if they don't all agree? Because then you would, in effect, be creating a landlocked situation for those two people who already have homes.
So they sit on a road already. They have driveways to an existing road.
Oh, okay.
So this would be like their side yards.
They have access through east-south, but I don't believe there's driveways up east-south. So they are using it as a way to get their accessory buildings, which is a garage. So it is one of the, I looked back through all the records to find out if previous easements were considered anything like that. This is probably something, those houses were probably 100 years ago, and somebody went, yeah, sure. And so we're just trying to piece things back together the best we can and make sure that moving forward we have agreements in place that makes it clear whose responsibility it is, so that we don't get wrapped into situations that you've probably all experienced before.
And as it states in the resolution, the proposed resolution, adjacent property owners may utilize the same access route upon proper agreement with the grantee concerning maintenance, plowing, and related costs. So they could use it, and it's up to them to figure out who's paying for what, if it's clearing it and all that. It's a good question.
That word upon approval of the people.
Yep.
This is the kind of sketchy.
Okay, so entertain a motion to report to council that the plan commission has reviewed Mr. Connor's request, and also to recommend to the council approval of the resolution pertaining to Mr. Connor's access easement for the driveway within the South Larson Street right of way.
Can you read that line you just read one more time?
Yep. The one about adjacent property, okay, yep. Adjacent property owners may utilize the same access route upon proper agreement with the grantee concerning maintenance, plowing, and related costs.
So there has to be permission from Mr. Conway on this side? Might be granted. Wouldn't that give him the right to say you can't use it anymore?
Well, so ultimately, we granted him the easement.
Right.
So, yes, He is the one with rights of access to it. We could grant easements to the adjoining landowners, and theoretically, if it came to a dispute and they were unable to resolve it amongst their own, we could just step in and say, all right, enough fighting, we're just gonna grant easements to the other two.
But if they already have access, like Karen's saying, and they're using it currently, essentially we're giving authority to Mr. Connor to say if we can or can't.
Is this access point an access point the adjacent owners are currently using?
Yeah, they have garages out there.
Is that how they're getting to their garages?
Yeah.
So then we would,
But like what we're contemplating is there like trees there currently, right? We're talking about the area he intends on
Can you pull
clearing.
the street view and show that, please? Because that shows it clearly.
the upline.
We can just add in language saying the portion of the South Larson Street extension beginning at the end of the existing access routes currently utilized by the adjoining landowners.
There it is right there.
So there's two garages up there now. And which one is, the street view car, it doesn't just stop like right in the middle of the driveway.
That was-
It goes to each side. Which one is Mr. Connor's property?
His would be up that Larson, straight up.
So those two houses right there, the red one and white one, those are not his?
No,
He just owns the lot behind them?
he owns the lot to the, up behind the house on the right. So he owns a lot that is on that side of this extension of Larson, up in here, up in the trees.
So wouldn't we have to define like where this easement starts and to still allow those two property owners access to their garages?
And that's not difficult to do, I mean, especially since there's existing pavement, I guess. So just the portion of the South Larson Street extension, beginning at the termination of the existing paved
Yeah,
routes.
it kind of ends here.
Yeah, it's not actually paved, it's gravel.
Gravel.
And I'm wondering, Michael, if this is city-owned property, again, it's not a certified street, so they technically should have had the same easement agreement in place before they were allowed to use it. But that's not the way we did it 75 years ago. So we're doing this property owner correctly, but he would need an easement to use the entire section of South Larson. Would that be correct?
Yeah, and so one of the things that would need to be negotiated in the use and maintenance agreement between the three landowners is the two landowners who are currently using that means of ingress should not be responsible for maintaining the portion of the property that they don't benefit from. So that portion that goes directly to Mr. Connor's lot, their responsibility ends where their use of the easement would end.
So tighten up that language a little bit for council's consideration.
Okay, so the resolution needs to be reworded, but we're simply recommending, I guess, maybe to the council to adopt a resolution rather than that exact phrasing. Because if we don't, we can't grant Tracy this access, correct? Or the council can.
Well, I mean, he needs the whole thing, and ultimately that's what the resolution does, is grant him access.
What I'm stating is, So there's some questions on the phrasing that I read off that said, for instance, a home is being constructed, and there are questions about, what about the other two guys being able to access their garage? So all I'm saying is, the recommendation from the Plan Commission to the council would be to adopt a resolution. We do not have to, we can't approve this anyway. It's the council who can, so this can be rewritten before the council votes on it, because they are the decision-making body. They are who could approve that resolution. This body can simply recommend to the council to report to them that we reviewed this as we're required to do, and to recommend to the council that a resolution be adopted granting Mr. Connor his easement, so that this verbiage can be cleaned up. That's all we have to do.
Yeah, and we can record that if you want to say with comments as discussed, like that's part of what we allowed on the, we prepared for on the Plan Commission review and report. It says additional considerations made. So we can certainly add these notes that you got and just say it was suggested that, the resolution was changed slightly and that we made sure we considered the other property owners in the easement. And we can put that right in the additional considerations made, and this report goes on to council for the final decision on the resolution and the easement.
Okay, my motion to the city is to report to the city council that the Plan Commission has completed its review based on the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the record as required by Wisconsin statute. Read it. I can't read it.
62.23 sub 5.
62.235. This report is now formally forwarded to the Common Council for final action, and also I'm recommending to the council that they adopt a resolution granting the required easement to Mr. Tracy Connor. Is there a second?
A second.
Second, was that Karen?
Yes.
Karen. Further discussion?
One question, if it were the only way to ensure the rights of the existing landowners, would there be any opposition to formal grants of easement to the already existing landowners as far as their access already exists?
No, because it seems as though 100 years ago or whenever those homes were built, that should have been done that way in the first place.
Okay, so just whatever it takes to ensure that all three of these people can access their land, that's what you would like us to do?
That is correct.
Well, we can do that, okay.
Okay, we have the motion and the second. Is there further discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll need a roll call.
Cairns,
Aye.
Hepley,
Aye.
Jelinek,
Aye.
Olson, Miller, Jarvis,
Aye.
Coppermine.
Aye. Okay, that one's carried. Okay, 3, Story Field Duplex Development Plan Commission Review and Report. Jason, what do we have on this one?
Okay, so the cover sheet, again, is smaller on these, but just a little bit of background. The Plan Commission has reviewed and discussed the Story Field development on numerous occasions throughout 2021, 2022, and 2023, and provided guidance that helped shape the conceptual plans that were ultimately acted upon by the Common Council on September 24, 2020, by the Common Council. So they were acted on by the Council. On September 24, 2025, the Council approved a pre-development agreement, followed by the approval of a full development agreement on October 7, 2025. The proposed development, an 8-duplex, 16-unit, zero-step housing project, is now presented to you for your consideration and report. So, again, the Plan Commission report purpose is to review and report, is to offer a recommendation to the City Council to ensure that the development action being proposed is aligned with the city's overall planning goals as outlined in the comprehensive plan. The project will need to return to Plan Commission for review during both the preliminary and the final plat approval process. So there's a lot of work that has to take place. So with that, I'd refer you down to the Plan Commission staff report. You are all pretty familiar with this, but the proposal involves a 4.2 acre development of city-owned land and the conveyance of land to Enke Properties. They're represented by Doug and Dylan Enke for the construction of 8 duplexes to meet local housing needs. The city will retain, per council action, 1.43 acres for stormwater management and public space, referred to as option C. We can look at that. Darcy, if you want to shift down there again. Again, this is one of the options that the Plan Commission had reviewed on numerous occasions and offered comment to get us to this point. The difference is that a couple of you maybe aren't aware of the area that has been clearly identified for the public use. And so there were a number of different options that were provided, but the area highlighted in yellow, other than this area, because this is already owned by the city, it's the well house. This area outlined in yellow would come back to the city as public use space and for stormwater management. Okay? So the land will be sold for $1 to offset developer infrastructure costs estimated between $800,000 and $1 million. The estimated development value is in the $4 to $6 million range, with new annual property tax revenues in the area of $100,000 per year. So looking at the things that we need to consider tonight, the comprehensive plan alignment, which again, in your reviews in 22, 23, and 24, these were all things that we were considering. The proposal aligns with the comprehensive plan housing and land use goals by supporting infill development, increased density of residential land use, and diverse housing types within existing city limits. Storyfield area is designated residential on the future land use map, so that's another one that's in the comprehensive plan that we're always looking at, is does it match the long-range plan of the city? It has been designated as residential, and the proposed development is consistent with that designation. We did provide for you, again, sections out of that comprehensive plan, which you have been reviewing that before, and I think we started in 2021 probably, or 2020, looking at the comprehensive plan and developing it. It was something that came here, you all adopted it, and it's something, again, that Karen and this body, Karen often will mention the comprehensive plan that this body has consistently looked at over and over again, but we did include portions of that in your packet. So public works, utilities, and zoning input. Utilities available along surrounding streets, stormwater to be managed on a site via option C retention area, access and infrastructure design approved in concept by DPW and utilities. So we've talked about this from a zoning standpoint, we've talked about it from a utility standpoint, from a public works standpoint, and determined that all of the facilities that are there are adequate to support the additional development. Environmental site condition is suitable. The site is graded, non-wetland, outside floodplain, no slopes in excess of 20%. So the staff recommendation is to approve the proposed land transfer and use as presented. You can see we did the Planning Commission review and report again. You're obviously more than welcome to comment on that. The review criteria are checked there. So is the proposal consistent with the City of Richland Center Comprehensive Plan? Yes. Does the proposal appear to meet the requirements of Chapter 448? At this point, this is checked as an NA, again, because of the process that you all have to walk through with regard to the pre-plat and the plat, right? So this is simply getting it back before you to make sure that we've had a final look and you can offer a final recommendation before the administrator executes the directive that the council has given her to execute the development agreement. And again, once that happens, it kicks all of the engineering and all of those things into gear, and that all has to come back before you for review of how that land will be parceled up and broken up, and the streets consideration, all the utilities, those things. So that all comes back.
Okay, so this, basically what you just said is this has to be platted. Obviously before work can begin. And also, I believe this parcel, this property is zone R1, which would be single-family residential, is that correct?
Yeah,
So there will need to be a rezone to an R2,
correct,
which would allow the duplexes, and at that time, a public hearing is required to do that.
correct,
Yep, so this will be back here
right.
as the months play out. What we're doing here today is simply a review of what's been done, what the council's last action was. And then, like you just said, just review, there's no conflict with the comprehensive plan, there's no conflict with the land use map. We've checked with our utility department heads to make sure the infrastructure up there can handle this that kind of stuff. That's what we're doing here tonight. Nothing's being approved or rejected tonight. We're just reviewing the action the council already. And in the future, as this project, as preparation work is done to do the work, it has to be platted, which brings it back here. It has to be zone R2, which brings it back here, and then to the council, assuming it gets forwarded there, for a public hearing before the city council to rezone to R2. Correct?
Right.
Did I miss anything? Okay. Okay.
So once, excuse me, so once the plat happens, then the proposed requirements of chapter 4,
That's when chapter 448 really gets considered, right? Because
that
it,
will comply with that.
correct, so it goes, the process that we have conceptual and pre-engineering done. They take the next step into probably like a 75% complete engineering, 50 to 75% complete. In that engineering, they're providing an exact layout of what they want for the lots, right? So we want this lot to be this dimension by that dimension, and here's the street dimensions and all the stormwater and sizes and all that stuff. And then they come back here to you with that preliminary plat process, and you comment on it again, review it, you know, what about this change, that change? Engineers, I would expect, would be here at that point in time answering any very technical questions that might come up. And then you approve the preliminary plat, and they take the steps necessary to move that plat with your notes into a final plat stage. And so it's outlined in our ordinance, and there are, again, a lot of steps to go through, but you are correct here.
So the drawing that we've been looking at is a concept plan.
That's right.
Correct, I would consider that, this drawing as well as the engineered document that we have, which is also in our, you want to shift to that a little bit, Darcy? This document here represents, more of a full engineering and design document. You can see it's got the topography, grades, slopes, elevations listed. It's physically outlining where current infrastructure is. So this is probably, at a 25% done in engineering. You can see the lots that have been proposed there. You can see dimensions of depth and width. And we expect that the preliminary plat is going to come back to you just about identical to this, although they could discover something in their engineering processes. Yeah, we need to make this tweak here or there. But when it comes back the next time, it won't be 25%, it'll be more like 75%. It's just a guesstimate. So it's advancing in the design process.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions up here, comments? Okay, so we're simply here tonight to review this, which we're doing right now, and report to the council that the plan commission did that. Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion then to forward this plan commission review and report to the city council, simply stated that this was reviewed by the plan commission as required. Motion from, was that Karen? And second by Lisa. Okay, motion by
I think, Todd, it might be, so we have the motion there, and it's specific to that, just wait for a reason, because,
Jason, just read it off.
okay, so the motion is to motion to forward the planning commission review and report to the designated city officer, city administrator, per the ordinance number 2025-08 as passed by the common council on 10/7/2025.
Okay, Karen, is that your motion?
That is my motion.
Lisa, is that your second? There we go. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, we'll need a roll call.
Miller,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Aye.
Wilson, Jelinek,
Yes.
Cairns,
Aye.
Kepley,
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye. Okay, that one is carried. Okay, Next one would be comprehensive plan. If anybody has anything that they want to discuss this month on that
Well,
one? Do you?
I do.
Okay.
Couple of things. When going over some information, Chris and I, when we were working on the Connect Communities concept, Chris noticed there was one on here for prepare for the Route 14 construction project. Well, it says 2024, but we know that's going to be 2026. As it's used for, as an opportunity to establish new consumer habits that utilize downtown. So, kind of directionals that, downtown's this way or that type of thing. Just so that people, when the road construction happens, that just something to think about now versus, when the bulldozers are here. So that we don't cut off the downtown, I guess, is basically what I'm trying to say. So there's that one.
This will be, just so you're aware, Karen, I think that's a really good point, we'll keep it in mind, but because of the extensiveness of the project, the state will be deeply involved in trying to figure out how to route traffic and mark traffic and things like that, but I will keep that in mind as we work with the state to make sure that safe and a little bit narrower than normal routes through Highway 14 and 80 are accessing to the downtown.
Yes, thank you. And just a couple others that, just once again, just coming to mind. Consider a downtown Richland Center focus page for use on the tourism and social media and city websites. So, possibly with this Connect Communities, that could serve as that. We don't know yet, but it's listed on here as an item.
Karen, what's the next step with Connect Community?
We did submit our application, which once again is a competitive application on the due date, which was the 17th. So we are just going back, but we are still talking amongst ourselves and getting together, just some ideas to hit the ground running once we get the okay.
Okay, and Jason, on Highway 14 construction, are we still thinking like May next year, or what's the last you heard?
I just heard spring. I don't know that they've identified a specific start time. I haven't talked to them, but their conversations will begin to increase here now, I'm sure.
Okay, and then exactly from where to where have they agreed?
From the intersection of Highway 80 south, all the way through Bowman and all the way down to County Trunk.
So starting at the intersections of 80 and 14?
Of 80 and, 80 south and 14. That was supposed to be some improvements made to that in the last couple of years, and they postponed it. That's my understanding at this point. Things change at the DOT, but my understanding they made it into one project scope going from 80 south and 14 through 14 and County Trunk Hole.
Well, that's better than they first said, because it was going to be Bowman Drive to O the first time they said they would come next year, so that's better. Okay, good. And spring is as much as we know.
Correct.
Okay.
At least it's 26. Just leave it at that.
Well, yeah, just wondered if there were any further updates. I had not heard that. Doesn't sound like there are. Other than I wasn't sure they committed to come all the way up to 80, because initially they weren't committing to that. So
Well, it wasn't part of the Highway 14 project, but it was another project that was already designated, and it was due to go into construction prior to 14.
yeah.
And they just postponed it, is my understanding, so that they had all of the contractors there the whole time. And it's just a continuation. And anyway, right, from Bowman down to 80 and 14 it's just a continuation. So that's my understanding at this point. Again, they haven't really begun to ramp up project meetings or anything like that. I did hear for sure that they had allocated the funds, and they were letting bids. So it's moving. It just is that they haven't been back communicating with the community yet at this point.
Yeah, okay. So that's that one.
Great. Then just one more that I have in my mind. Provide adequate So Jason, remember back when we were doing the wayfinding signs, we also talked about the pedestrian level signage that is not DOT controlled, and so that we could direct people more to specific, not businesses, but, you know, movie theater this way, or, you know, dining this way, or that, and that type of thing. So there is an item on here, provide adequate signage for bicycle travel, clearly showing how Richland Center connects to Lone Rock and the Pine River Trail and downtown businesses, along with another one that's pretty close, and that's create pedestrian and bicycle-friendly routes and wayfinding signage. Special consideration should be given to allow easy access to unique tourist destinations, restaurants, and places of interest such as the 80 Warehouse, downtown restaurants, auditorium, and the Pine River Trail. And last but not least, market the underutilized resources of the park system in ways that bring non-residents, such as hosting disc golf tournaments and seeking events that take advantage of the remote control tracks. So those are some things that just individuals have been talking about. I'm trying to